Trial by Frost is all but here. With an incredible theme incorporated into the exciting mechanics and cards of the set, I can't wait to open some product. If you haven't been able to make an order yet, check out the link in the description. What powerful unique cards and opportunities will be inside. This expansion's really gonna shake things up, and all but redefine the food chain, with support for various popular and unproven strategies alike. Some journeys have come to an end, while others are just beginning. But amidst it all, the spoilers wouldn't be complete without one more card reveal. Hey everybody, and welcome back. I've got an exciting card reveal for you today, and let's jump right into it. The card we're going to be looking at is Moth Lantern. It's one of the new card types in Trial by Frost, a gear. This card type is a permanent, kind of like a landmark, except for instead of playing it in your landmark zone, you'll actually play it in one of your expeditions. And as far as I've seen so far, all of the gears work the same way, where it says play me in an expedition. If it moves forward, I go to reserve during rest. So it's kind of like a temporary permanent, and when it goes to the reserve, you'll actually be able to play it a second time. So it's definitely like a crossover between the landmarks that we know and a character. Looking at this one, it's actually going to be supporting the sacrifice mechanic, which I think is super exciting because from all of the reveals I've seen so far, I don't think I've seen a single sacrifice card or payoff for sacrifice revealed yet. So it's definitely good to see Lindiwe getting some love. This card, it's 3 costs from hand, 2 costs from reserve, and it says when you sacrifice a non-illusion character, create a Moth 2/2/2 illusion token in my expedition. And let's bring that up on the screen right now. Wow. What an adorable card. If I wasn't excited to play this already, this definitely might convince me. So this permanent, when you play it, it says you're going to sacrifice a character in my expedition, and then immediately you're going to get the payoff here where you can summon one of these mana moths. Because the moths are illusion characters, you won't be able to sacrifice them moving forward if you want to get the benefit of summoning another moth, but as long as your deck is full of other ways to make cheap characters and then sacrifice them, you could have this effect compound pretty quickly and easily summon maybe like 2 or even 3 if you're pretty lucky mana moths in a turn, and that's going to be a lot of stats for one card played from hand. I think too that this card, it kind of just has some inevitability with it, where if you play this and the expedition doesn't move forward the day you play it, the next day it's already going to start in play, and you're going to be getting these free 2/2/2s for doing what you were already planning to do anyway. So I think that it's basically like, if you play this, your opponent probably wants to let you win the side so they don't have to deal with the Moth Lantern the next day. And if they don't, sooner or later you're going to be able to 2-0 them because you're going to build up so much advantage. From hand, the math's alright, but you're usually only going to get around 444 in stats from this if you sacrifice 2 characters. And I feel like that's pretty good for a 3 cost, but you did have to sacrifice a character when you played it, meaning you lost some stats. So it turns out to just be alright, but from the reserve, it gets really good where this only costs 2 to play. And for the rare, it's actually going to cost 2 now from hand and reserve. So if you weren't convinced on the math before, it just gets so much better now. I think that this will be really powerful because originally we could only really push 1 expedition with Lindiwe. Since the Maw can only go on the companion side, oftentimes that's like really the only one that you're able to put a significant amount of stats in, but now it's going to be a lot more flexible. You can throw this on the other expedition and put pressure on both sides at the same time, or maybe even put this on the same side as Ma, and there's no way you're going to be losing that expedition. I really like too that this is going to be splitting up the stats across multiple bodies. The Maw was pretty susceptible to removal, especially if you were sacrificing like 3 things and then just really beefing up that 1 token, but now that we're going to be summoning multiple tokens, it's going to be a lot harder for our opponents to deal with us easily with just like 1 removal card. And for the faction shifted version, it's going to be an Ordis. We've seen a lot of sacrifice cards end up in Ordis, but until now I feel like there wasn't really a deck there. It was definitely just something where because you create the cheap tokens, you could get away with playing some cards like Anubis, but there wasn't really a big payoff outside of like just the normal effects on the card. Now though that this can give you a payoff for running some of those other sacrifice cards, there might even start to be a deck there. I think that we probably need to see at least like 1 more payoff, especially because this card leaves the expedition if you move forward. You're not going to be able to have it sticking around every day, but maybe if this effect ends up on something like a unique 2, you could start to have 6 of it in the deck and yeah, really start to get big payoffs for some of those cards like Baba's Isba or Anubis and just really go crazy. In its simplest state, if you play this in like Sigismar or something, you get rid of a 1/1/1 to summon a 2/2/2, which is a pretty bad trade, but as soon as you sacrifice one more card, especially if you're going to do it anyway, now this would basically be like a 3/3/3 for 2. So yeah, I could really see this having a place even in Ortis moving forward if there ends up being a deck that does have the potential to sacrifice multiple times in a day. I'm really excited to get my hands on this card and be able to try it out to see how good it actually is in practice. I really hope that it can enable some of these strategies that have been a little bit less impressive in Beyond the Gates. And I just think the design too, with the inevitability of this card where if your opponent blocks you, it means there's going to be this big problem for them sticking around, is just so interesting and will have a cool impact on gameplay. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. There's going to be a ton of Trial by Frost content coming your way soon. And let me know in the comments, what are you most excited for the new expansion? Thanks for watching.